Ever feel like you're constantly on the back foot, like you're chasing after things, and you're losing control in the process?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Well, today we're going to flip that script. We're diving deep into Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power,
Ooh, good stuff.
specifically Law 8. Make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. This is about gaining leverage by making others come to you, becoming the prize.
Wow, I like it.
We'll be looking at examples from some of history's greatest strategists, like Sun Tzu, Napoleon. We'll even talk about how companies like Apple use this in the modern world.
Wow, those are some pretty big names to live up to.
So let's start by understanding why chasing after things can actually put you at a disadvantage.
Well, when you chase, you kind of project this aura of desperation, right? Like you need this thing, you need this person, and that can really weaken your position.
Yeah, you're handing over your power.
Exactly. You're
Yeah.
basically saying, I need this from you, and then they're in control.
Right, but when you make others come to you, you set the terms.
You control the pace, you call the shots, you make the rules of the game.
It's like, when you're negotiating. If you're too eager, you might end up with a bad deal. But if you hold back a little, let the other side sweat a bit.
Oh, yeah. They might just surprise you with what they're willing to offer.
Right. So one of the best examples of this law in action comes from, well, you guessed it, Sun Tzu and the Art of War.
Ah, the master strategist.
Exactly. Now, Sun Tzu, he was all about outsmarting your opponent.
Oh, absolutely. He was a master of deception.
And one of his key strategies, was using bait to lure his enemies into traps.
He knew how to play on their aggression,
Make them think they had the upper hand.
when actually he was the one pulling the strings.
Yeah, setting them up for a fall. So it's not about being passive, it's about being strategic. You're drawing them in.
You're using their energy against them.
And that idea of baiting is, well, it's key to making others come to you. So how do we do this? How do we craft this irresistible bait?
Well, you have to understand your target. Like, what are their desires? What do they fear? What are they missing in their life?
So it's like you're saying we need to be like um, detectives of human nature.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You need to know what makes them tick.
Okay, so let's say, just as an example, in a professional setting, how would this baiting work? I mean, we're not literally setting traps here, right?
Right, of course not. But the principle's the same. Let's say you want a promotion. Instead of, constantly reminding your boss of your achievements.
Yeah, or like begging for it.
Right. Think about what your boss really values. Is it initiative, problem solving, leadership?
Okay, so instead of saying, give me a promotion, I show them I have what it takes.
Exactly. You become indispensable.
You're basically saying, hey, look at all this value I bring.
You're the solution to their problems. You're the answer to their prayers.
So the bait in this case is like a demonstration of my value, not some kind of trickery.
Right. It's got to be genuine. It's about understanding their needs and positioning yourself as the solution.
And this reminds me of something you mentioned earlier, that idea of being, a little mysterious.
Oh, yeah. Mystery is powerful. Think about brands like Apple.
Oh, yeah, they're the masters of that. They're so secretive about their new products, and their product launches are like events.
Huge events. People go crazy for them.
Mm.
And it's not an accident. It's all part of the strategy.
They make you want it, even if you don't know what it is yet.
They create a sense of anticipation, of scarcity, of desire.
Yeah. Instead of shouting, look how great we are, they're like, if you're worthy, come and see.
It's subtle, but incredibly effective. They're not chasing customers. They're making customers chase them.
Okay, so we've talked about baiting and this air of mystery, but how do we, balance this with being genuine? I mean, we don't want to come across as fake.
That's such a good point. It's the
Thank you.
delicate balance, right? You have
Yeah.
to be aware of how your actions are perceived.
And always make sure it's a win-win situation, not just about us getting what we want.
Exactly. It's about understanding human nature and using that knowledge to create mutually beneficial relationships.
So we're not puppet masters. We're more like,
Facilitators.
facilitators of opportunity, both for ourselves and for others.
I like that. We help things fall into place.
And that brings us to the potential risks of this whole approach.
Yes, because there are always risks, aren't there?
There are, because if we're not careful, we could end up being too passive and
Yeah.
miss out on good opportunities.
Exactly. So how do we strike that balance between being strategic and, being proactive? Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? You don't want to be sitting back waiting for things to happen, but you also don't want to come off as, well, desperate.
Right. So how do we actually put this Law 8 into practice? Are there like any techniques or strategies?
Well, it's not like a recipe, there's no one-size-fits-all approach. It's more about understanding the underlying principles.
So we've got to be adaptable.
Exactly. You have to be able to read the situation and adjust accordingly. But I can give you a few tips to get you started.
Okay, I'm ready. Lay it on me.
One really effective technique is creating a sense of scarcity. We saw that with Apple, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the limited editions, the long lines. Makes you think, gotta have it now.
Exactly. And you can use this in other areas too. Like if you're negotiating a deal, you could suggest you have other offers, even if you don't.
So bluff a little.
Well, not exactly bluffing, more like strategically implying that you're in demand makes them work harder to get you.
Okay, I see. It's all about that power dynamic shift.
Right. Another technique, this one's kind of related, is strategic withholding.
Strategic withholding. Sounds a bit like, I don't know, playing hard to get.
Kind of, yeah. It's about not showing all your cards at once. Instead of bombarding people with information or overwhelming them with your eagerness.
Hold back a little, keep them guessing.
Exactly. Spark their curiosity. Make them want to learn more. Like a good movie trailer, gives you just enough to get you hooked.
Oh, I get it. Leave them wanting more. So in a meeting, for example, instead of blurting out everything I know, I should.
Share just a taste, a few key insights, and then let them come to you for more.
Make myself the go-to expert.
Exactly. You become the valuable resource, the one with the insider knowledge. And speaking of knowing when to play your cards right, that brings us to timing.
Oh, yeah. Timing's crucial in, well, pretty much everything, isn't it?
It really is. Knowing when to make your move, when to reveal your hand, when to step back. It's an art form. Act too soon and you might seem desperate. Wait too long and, well, the opportunity might be gone.
So it's like we need to develop this sixth sense for the right moment.
It's about observation, being aware of the situation, being flexible. Sometimes the best opportunities come when you least expect them.
You got to be ready to pounce.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now remember what we said about the risks. Being too passive can backfire. So we need that balance between strategy and taking initiative.
Right, because if I'm always waiting for someone else to make the first move, I might be waiting forever.
Exactly. It's about knowing yourself, your own tendencies. If you're naturally more reserved, you might need to push yourself a bit.
Step out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. There's no magic formula. It's about knowing the principles and then adapting them to the specific situation. Kind of like
Improvising.
like jazz.
Yeah, exactly. You got to feel the rhythm, know when to play loud and when to hold back.
I like that analogy. So Law 8, it's not just about, manipulating people. It's more about understanding how power works in all these different situations.
Right. And then using that knowledge to create outcomes that work for everyone involved.
It's like we're learning the rules of the game so we can play it better.
Exactly. And when you understand the rules, you can start bending them a little.
To your advantage.
Yeah, but ethically, of course. Of course. So we've talked about, strategy and timing and being adaptable. But are there any real-life examples? I mean, people who have actually used this law to achieve great things.
Oh, tons. History's full of them. And we see it all the time in the modern world, too. Think about successful entrepreneurs, those charismatic leaders, even those people who just seem to, effortlessly attract amazing opportunities.
It's like they have this aura, this magnetism that draws people in.
Exactly. And one of the best examples, I think, is Oprah Winfrey. Think about her journey from humble beginnings to, well, becoming Oprah.
Oh, yeah. Oprah's incredible. She didn't start with much, but she had this amazing ability to connect with people.
She drew people in. She wasn't chasing fame or fortune. She was pursuing her passion, being her authentic self.
Creating a space where people felt empowered.
And that's what made her so successful. It wasn't manipulation. It was genuine connection, the power of authenticity.
So Law 8, it's not just about being clever or strategic. It's about being real. Being true to yourself.
And when you do that, when you combine that authenticity with a deep understanding of human nature, that's when the magic happens.
We've talked about Sun Tzu, Apple, even Oprah. It's amazing how this one law, Law 8, can apply to so many different things.
Yeah, it really shows how power dynamics are, like everywhere,
Yeah.
in almost every interaction.
And Law 8 gives us a way to understand these dynamics and
Yeah.
maybe use them to, get what we want.
But it's not about being, like, manipulative.
No, no, not at all. It's about understanding people, what they want, what drives them, and then finding ways to help them get those things while we get what we want too.
So everyone wins.
Exactly. It's about creating those win-win situations, finding that sweet spot where our goals and their goals align.
And that's where the real power comes in. Right? It's
Yeah,
not about forcing people to do things. It's about drawing them in, making them want to work with you.
like a magnet.
Exactly. A
Mhm.
magnet for opportunities, for relationships, for success.
And the more we work on ourselves, the stronger that magnet becomes.
Right? So it's about, building our skills, our knowledge, our confidence, becoming the best version of ourselves.
So we don't have to chase after things, they come to us.
Exactly. It's really empowering when you think about it that way.
It is. This whole conversation has been so insightful. I feel like I have a whole new perspective.
Me too. It's like we've unlocked a secret level or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. So, as we wrap up this deep dive into Law 8, make other people come to you, what's the one key takeaway you would leave our listeners with?
Hmm. That's a good question. I'd say stop chasing and start attracting. Instead of running after things that seem out of reach, focus on yourself. Become the kind of person that opportunities in great relationships naturally gravitate towards.
I love that. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves so that we don't have to fight for our place in the world. The world comes to us.
Exactly.
That's a powerful message to end on. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.
And to our listeners, think about this. What can you do today to become more magnetic, more influential, more in control of your own destiny? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, stay curious, stay strategic, and remember, the power to attract what you desire, well, it's already within you.